Okay, so, hi. We're going to finish up the parade today, or in this video. I got to get rid of a whole bunch of lines, though, that I left in here from last time. Now, I've talked about this little book that I've been working on forever, and it's called Stories from Scootertown. And I have a Facebook page that's dedicated to it a little bit. If you go to it, Stories from Scootertown, you'll see all the YouTube videos, all the videos we've done together. But if you keep scrolling down and maybe go through the pictures, you'll see other pictures that I've done that we haven't worked on here. Some of the village, some of the stuff I've done for the book. I've actually done quite a bit for the book. I've done whole scenes where, like, Jack is running, and then he bumps into a beehive, and then he trips over a rock. Well, he trips over a rock, and he ends up hitting a beehive, rather. And he was running away from the bees when he runs into a tree. And all of them were done in this fashion. I really struggled for a long time trying to figure out how to get people to see this book, because I put it up on Instagram, I've put it up a little bit on Twitter, I've put it up on the Facebook page, it's on I think it's on my website, and I really haven't gotten the audience that I was hoping for. And now I'm doing this just for fun, and so we can share time together and make things together in, during COVID-19. That's when I started doing it, when I was off of work for 30 days making these videos. And we've just continued doing it through the protests and everything else. And I got to tell you, this has really been fun, even though there's not a big audience right now for this, for what we're doing. This has been really, really fun, and so I look forward to doing this as often as possible. All right, so I just erased the lines, and when we left off, we didn't do Jack's hand. It was just an oval, but I decided tonight we're going to make it into not really a fist, but sort of a fist. And so what it's going to be, but you're going to see his thumb. So it could be an open hand, it could be a fist. It doesn't matter, he's walking, he's just marching along with everybody else. So it's going to be like a rectangle at the end instead of the circle. So a curved rectangle, and then the oval to indicate the thumb. That's it. Line down, line across, oval. I'm going to grab my big fat pen, my big magic marker. Make sure once again, that you have something under you, because you don't want to get these marks on your desk or on your tabletop. So anyway, I hope people are doing this along with me and they're having fun. So there we go. Let's cut this out. And then I got to figure out what we're going to do for the background, because they live in kind of a city, kind of a town, kind of a village. So if they were actually in a city, we'd see a lot of buildings. But I'm not ready to get into that yet with on these videos, because we haven't done a heck of a lot of the buildings in the town. We were doing all those 3D projects that were super fun, but we haven't built everybody's house yet. And we haven't gone into Jimmy's home and the living room where he dreams all of this up. I was always afraid of doing videos and releasing too much information about the book. But this is extraordinarily fun for me. And I do like sharing. So we're just going to keep doing it and see what happens. I would love it if art teachers had their students doing these projects. I would love it if students showed their art teachers these projects, or librarians, or whomever. It would be nice to be sharing this with more and more people. Maybe in time. So again, we're cutting not right on the lines, we're leaving space between the lines and the scissors for the edge of the cut. I don't worry about making the little round bits like that perfectly round. Don't worry about it. You just cut. So these guys live, like I said, they live in Scooter Town, which is kind of a city but kind of not, kind of a town, kind of a village, but with city-like buildings in some places. But I think we're going to keep this very simple, as I said, instead of doing buildings, because we have not done a lot of buildings yet. We're going to have them marching through the park, because they're marching to the potluck extravaganza that Dixie, our little bird, has organized. He didn't organize it well. He tried to, but he got very controlling and decided what everyone was going to bring and what everyone was going to do, and that he knew better than everybody. So that part of the book does not go well. But in the end, they all end up at the picnic, and they end up with something more beautiful than Dixie could have imagined, because they all brought something to the picnic table. Oof, this is taking a long time. Have nearly as much patience as one would think. But we're almost done. Done. Ooh, I want to get right in between the bears because their heads were not quite touching. So we're going to see trees, at least in my illustration. We'll be seeing trees behind them. I'll cut out this part. I'm not going to worry about that bit right in there yet, between Jimmy and Jack. I'm not going to worry about it yet. Now, I've talked about using scrap paper and whatever paper you have laying around. I found junk mail today. I've been using printouts from work from last year, but I found junk mail today that I thought would be perfect to make trees with. Once again, I have not really planned this out well. No idea what we're going to do. Grab another piece of paper. I wrote all over that. Yeah, this is all my stuff from work. I guess it won't matter. I have to make notes and highlight things, and very important. let's see about trees. Let's make a skinny one. Okay, we're just going to make individual trees and see what happens, okay? And so, once again, it's going to be a line down telling us the shape of the tree or how it's going to be bending or not bending. Just a line down, 1, 2, 3 trees. And let's make them at, let's make them at different heights. And I always start off with like an oval or an egg. Just like Max's head, just like Jack's head. That's how I start off. Make lines, pardon me, make some more lines because they're going the tree trunks aren't going to be super thick, but they're going to be fairly thick. And then we've got the roots coming down. My teacup. Okay. Do the same thing here. Same thing here. There will be branches, but first we're going to draw the outline of the leaves. And again, it's just squiggly lines like we've been doing. Maybe I'll make that one a little bit shorter. So we'll have short, medium, and tall. Short, medium, and tall tree. And I have a feeling we're just going to have bushes behind this, like we've been doing with the squiggly lines. Okay, so we've got the idea of trees. Let's think about maybe a branch. Or 2, or 3 on every tree. We'll just think about it. We won't have to draw them in yet in pen. So we're going to think about, do we really want them or don't we? Let's grab the big fat pen or Sharpie from the dollar store and just squiggle. Squiggly lines. That's all we're doing. See how quick I'm doing them? I'm not worried about it. Not worried about shape, design. Got the basic down. Let's draw the trunk. So, and see what happens. And trees can be uneven. And they can even be a little squiggly. Because just like us, they're not perfect. They don't have perfect lines. They have bark, and knots, and all kinds of things. So just like people, they have their own personalities, and their own lumpiness. Let's try. I just want to see how this looks. How having a branch coming in looks. Yeah, maybe, because we're going to make some leaves for the trees too. So let's just do this. Let's just do it. Let's just do this thing. And don't forget, you can always photocopy this if you have access to a copying machine or a printer. Another thing you can do, which I have to do because I don't own a printer, I want to own a printer, you can take a picture of it, of your work, and if you have a phone, if you have a fancy phone, crop it down, crop whatever you're taking a picture of down, send it to somebody with a printer and see if they can print it for you. Let's get rid of some of these pencil lines. Oh, sorry, tree. I draw very dark because I want you to see it. So take some effort to get rid of my pencil. My pencil lines. Sorry, scissors. Okay. Now let's grab our skinny pen. We're going to give the tree trunks some interesting lines. Don't forget they have knots in them. So you're going to give them little circles. Okay? Gives them the personality. I think this one will have a knot here. And a knot up here. Knots can be a little dark. So you can draw ovals or circles within the circle. We may not see all this work when we get done, but it's fun to do. We get to learn something new while we're doing it. Okay. Get to learn what's going to work and what won't work for next time. Boy, this reminds me of old Bugs Bunny cartoons. The way we're doing it right now. Okay, so I've drawn skinny lines up and down the tree so it looks like bark. Let's do the same thing on the limbs. You see, I'm not worried about it, just giving it a couple of lines here and there. So we're giving it detail, giving the limbs detail without really giving them detail. Okay, here we go. Now let's do squigglies, just like on the bushes. Just squiggly lines. They're full of leaves, and it's confusing, and it's messy. So we're just doing squiggly lines. Yes? The last one. Okay. And just like the bushes, let's give these little sections. On the bushes, we give them sections. Kind of, we draw in lines, but we also do squigglies. Let's do the same thing here, okay? We probably won't even see the trees unless we do 3D, which might be kind of fun here. That might be a nice idea. Here, let's take our fat marker again. Just go like this. not too heavy. Oops. Just a little. I think that's enough for mine. There's my skinny one. Grab the skinny one again. So right now they're looking pretty messy. But remember how we made leaves before? Well, those are going to help pull this together and make it cleaner. Make our trees a little bit cleaner and cohesive. Okay, now let's draw in our lines. Just like on our bushes. All the bushes we've done in other videos. Okay. Oop. Just lines. And then go in any direction. They can even cross over each other. This reminds me of Bugs Bunny so much. Oh, poor Nilda, you're so wobbly. Yes, I know that I can't help it. Oh, poor Hilda, be my wife. For my wife is yours. Monsters make the most interesting people. Yep, I think this is going to end up being a 3D project. Because our trees are looking pretty cool. So there we go. Except we need leaves. We do need leaves. There's that skinny piece of paper I had on the floor with the scissors. Okay, let's make some leaves. Can't make them too big though, because these are not big trees. I made some the other night. Where'd they go? Oh. Check something. I'm just checking the size. Remember we made some the other night and I didn't use all of mine. That size looks good. Those are a little much. So we're just going to make them in smaller bunches than this. This is just too big for our little trees. But remember how to draw them. It's a line, curvy line, curvy line. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Oops, that one didn't come out great. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Line, curvy line, curvy line. Line, oops. Line, curvy line, curvy line. I'm making them primarily in bunches of 3s and not terribly big, because our trees aren't terribly big. Our trees are not terribly big. Okay, let me see how these look. We've had so much rain lately that now we've got all kinds of frogs all around the house, which is fantastic because I love frogs. But they're starting their nightly sing-song. Something else I really enjoy. Yeah, that's a good size. This is a good size, what we have here. We're going to have to make a whole bunch of them. Start gluing some on. I don't want to have to make a whole bunch of leaves and then sit here and cut them out forever, so I'm going to tackle one tree at a time. One tree at a time. That I have the patience for. Oh, but we still have to cut out the trees. Oh, poop. Forgot about that part. We got a lot of cutting to do. You know what? I'm going to cut one tree at a time. And I'll be able to keep my patience. Cut out one tree at a time and cut out the leaves for one tree at a time. And let's leave the straight bottom on for now, because we are going to do 3D, so we're going to have a way for the trees to stand up. And what we'll do is we'll put grass at the base of the trees. The indications for grass. By the way, you can cut yours out now, or you can wait till the end. I just don't want to be stuck cutting out a million things for like 10 minutes and not have anything accomplished. I like the feeling of accomplishment. So a little bit of glue, and leaf goes on. That tree is going to be fun. You're so lovely. Yes, I know it, I can't help it. Oh, Brunhilde, be my rock, for I was watching a Bugs Bunny cartoon earlier today. One of my favorites. So the song in it is stuck in my head, and I can't stop singing it. I think it's called Night at the Opera, I'm not sure. It's Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny. and I've loved it since I was a kid. See, there's 4 sets of leaves on there now. I like to have odd numbers sometimes, but let's see how that looks. Let me see, is one more going to get overwhelming? It might. All right, we're going to stick with I'm going to stick with the 4. You do whatever you want. All right, big tree, time to cut you out. This piece of mail worked out perfectly. This piece of junk mail. It was folded in just the right size for this particular project. And look at this, we didn't have to go and buy anything. That's pretty awesome. And I realize it's a bit counterintuitive for me to be saying, let's draw my book. And let's not buy stuff. Because most people want you to buy stuff. But I don't believe in you having to buy everything. I believe in using what you have and sharing. So I'm sharing my book, I'm sharing the characters, I'm sharing my ideas, and we are both just using what we have. Okay, got my second tree, kind of cut out. Make more leaves. Thank goodness I have a lot of scrap paper. So, straight line, curve, curve, straight line, curvy line, curvy line, straight line, curvy line, curvy line, straight line, curvy line, curvy line, straight line, curvy line, curvy line. So when I was growing up, I used to belong to Scholastic Book Club, and I could not wait for the new catalog to come out and to be able to buy new books. I bought a lot of golden books. I bought a lot of books, but when I think maybe I was in 4th grade, can't remember, I bought a book called The Moon Singer. The Moon Singer. And it really ended up being one of my favorite books. It was a little sad. But it also expressed a lot of how I felt at the time. The main character was a little boy who, when he was alone, he could sing to the moon. He had a beautiful voice. But he couldn't sing in front of people. I may have some of the story wrong, so you'll have to excuse me. It's been several years since I've seen it, but I loved this book so much. Anyway, one night, some of the townspeople heard him singing. He was out in the woods, I believe. And he was singing to the moon. And the townspeople heard him, and he had a beautiful voice. Well, word got back to the king in this little kingdom about the moon singer. And so this boy was ordered to sing for the king. He was ordered to entertain him. And he went, as far as I remember, there was a big dinner or something, and he was supposed to be the entertainment. And he went to sing for the king. The bottom line is, he went to sing for the king, and he couldn't. He couldn't do it. He had no voice. I love the ending of the book, because the little boy went back to singing alone eventually, to the moon, in the woods, and the king came to him. The whole village came to him, didn't disturb him, just came to him to listen to his voice and enjoy his talents in his way. In the way he produced work the best, which was alone and quiet, kind of like us. And I love that idea, because sometimes people try and put us in a box and do what they want us to do and perform acts they want us to perform, or to do work the way they want us to work. And the same thing doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody is the same. And the king may be in charge, but that doesn't mean he's in charge of this boy's talents or his abilities, and can just demand. And I love that. And the king had to learn that. Though he's used to ordering people around and people just doing what he says, this little boy with this great talent would not and could not. If you can find the book, I recommend it. It's really good. At least to me it was. All right, one tree left. How are we doing for time? Ooh, we're getting down to it. Yeah, the name of the book is The Moon Singer. Came out in the 70s. You can get copies of it on eBay. I've seen it. Another favorite book of mine was Stuart Little. Oh my God, did I love that book. I loved Stuart and his adventures. And I loved how much his adopted family loved him just the way he was. And they worked with him just the way he was. I love the part of Stuart Little where he almost goes down the bathtub drain. And his family helps him. His family saves him. Ugh, we're all scared of bathtub drains. Like in the position of those leaves, they look like bananas. And this is not a banana tree, so why would they be hanging down? Oop. Sorry, little leaf. There we go. They still look like bananas. Go like that. Alright, I'm just going to put one more on this, because we're running out of time. We don't need a lot more. Okay. Get some of these flowers in here. I have extra leaves left over. We'll just keep that for another project. All right, so we've got three trees. And we've got our guys. Let's very quickly, let's see if we can draw some grass. Yeah, I don't like, you know what? I don't like this big white space here, so I'm just going to cut a little bit off. I'm going to cut a little bit off of this one, keeping a straight line, sort of, so they can stand up. And I was going back and forth. Do we make this 3D or do we not make this 3D? I think we're going to make this 3D. So let's do this. Let's draw some grass, and the grass is just going to be whoop, 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 just like that. Ready? Just little lines. Let's see if I can do it so you can see me. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You can make those noises or not. It's okay. Lines like that. Okay. Just grass, just little lines. 3, boop, boop, boop. Okay. There we go. Little lines. Okay, let's very quickly grab some scrap paper. Let me see, do I have another? I do. I have another piece of junk mail that I'm going to use. We're going to make those rolly things, but we're going to make them kind of tall because the trees are tall. Taking the scrap paper that came in the mail. Ooh. Ooh, these will have to be very, very skinny. Shoot. Let's see how we do. We might have to do this a couple of times to make sure they're skinny and sturdy enough. Let's see. And I've cut, tree isn't very tall, not as tall as this. I'm going to have to work quickly. You don't have to. You can take your time. Where's my tape? There you are. I'm going to cheat and I'm going to use some tape tonight. Oh. Okay. Close enough. Make another roll. Well, we may have to finish this in a third video. I apologize. I took too long on making trees. Cutting the top off because my tree isn't that big. Yeah, figuring things out is just part of being an artist. Not getting everything right is just part of being an artist. We get it right, we get it wrong, and we just keep trying. Progress, not perfection. Progress, not... Oh no! Progress, not perfection. I tell you what we're going to do, because we really are getting down to the minutes here. Why don't you see about getting your trees to stand up? You want the end of the roll right at the bottom of you want the end of the roll that you're making right at the edge down there, so that the roll is making the tree stand up. I really don't have enough glue for this to stick, so I'm going to work on this part. You work on yours, and we will meet up in the next video to finish our little parade adventure out, okay? And I'm going to figure this out. This may mean that we're gluing this. Actually, something else I was thinking about is making a street on another piece of paper. And then we may end up gluing the trees down. All right. You know what? We're going to figure this out in the next video. Tree. We're going to figure this out in the next video. I'm going to go have some more tea, and yeah, we'll do this again. How's that? So we can have a full project. This is going to be really cool, though, when it's done. Just getting it there. All right. All right, my friends. Thanks for listening to my stories and playing along. This is going to be fun. I promise, this is going to be fun when it's all done, okay? All right, see you soon. All right, ciao, ciao, ciao.